terminology that you've used, independent, do you mean independent as in indie publisher like Fahrenheit, who call themselves publishers, and people like that, or do you mean people doing it themselves?
You need definitions, don't you, here? A traditional publisher is the big five, it's Gollancz, Penguin, etc., etc. Small presses are people like Tyndall Street Press, who, you know, they're cottage industries. They're trying to be.
Or even smaller APS books?
Yes,
you're right.
Well, I would say you're a mix of two different types.
Okay.
Then we have independent publishing, which is self-publishing, and vanity press. And we're desperately trying to pull those two things apart.
Yeah.
Because vanity press has such a nasty connotation to it. Yeah.
Can I just make a point about your analogy?
Yeah.
I think you got it spot on with Pong. Because what you've got is you've got an artist who just wants to get his work out there.
Yeah.
And you've got a commercial imperative. Now, big publishers that you're talking about, their priority is the commercial imperative, isn't it? Rather than those artists, shall we say, who spent 2 years producing a piece of work and they just want people to read it.
Yeah.
They just want people to see it. And they are less concerned, I mean, obviously it'd be nice if they could do it for a living, like punk bands wouldn't mind getting a few quid for gigs.
Sure.
But I think that's the real difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing at the moment across a number of platforms as well, within broadcasting, traditional publishing, the blogs, social media. They're beginning to really challenge those established media companies and publishers. And in a way, that is such a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Because you're getting people to see something that previously the gatekeepers would stop.
Exactly.
And we talk in the book about making a living and that notion. And I appreciate that people come to it for many different reasons. And for some people, it's just, I want to get my work out there. I was really, really surprised when I started on this journey myself that I started to get reviews from people I don't know. In fact, actually, we talk about this in the book, relying on this lie that if you put your ebook out, all your reviews will be from your friends and family. It's such a lie, because none of your friends or family will ever buy your book or review it. I've discovered this. It's the cruelest lie of all. But what I was shocked about was I started to get reviews from complete strangers, and from complete strangers in America and in France and around the world. And it was, I've got for free this global marketing platform. And it's just me in my loft pressing a few buttons to publish my books. And there's an audience out there for it.
The biggest kick I've had out of it so far is somebody I've never met before, never come across, has said some wonderful things about something that I've done.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to put a price on that, it really is. And,
Totally.
And that can be a real motivator to actually make you carry on.
I've had exactly that experience, after years of going to SF conventions and trying to get editors to read your book, and they say they'll take the book, and they take the book, and they spend 2 years before they tell you they've lost it. And independently published a book, sold one at a convention, and the next convention I went to, I was in the registration line. And this bloke, who I didn't know, bounced up to me and went, "I read your book, brilliant!" and went off. That's validation. Almost instantaneously. I went and then found him and had my photograph taken next to him. My first fan.
So, please. Yeah.
No, I think that's made up. The thing I'd written down is, what made the stranger buy your book?
I think what's happened is Amazon have put in place an infrastructure for selling books that is far superior to the traditional publishers. If you go to the traditional publishers' websites, they're not user-friendly, and they're about pushing books in front of you that they want you to buy. Amazon have the exact opposite philosophy. What their philosophy is that what they will put in front of you is what they think is the book you will most likely buy, based on their algorithms reading all of the books you previously bought, books you've shown interested in, pages you've looked at.
Irrespective of publisher, irrespective of price,
Absolutely.
just bang, you might be interested in
So
it.
that's what's selling my books, and that's what's putting my books in front of people who probably will like my kind of writing.
There is a belief that ebooks created this independent publishing phenomenon, and it's not true. The two things happened at more or less the same time.
Yeah.
What happened was Amazon made it a level playing field and gave us a bookshop in which we could all put our books on the shelf. And that is what changed it.
Actually, that's true, isn't it? I mean, my first book started, it was only traditionally printed. I'd done a traditional print because I had a printer who would do it at a reasonable price. And I put it on Amazon, I sold it on Amazon. And you're right, the Kindle ebook, and indeed then much more recently print on demand, is what are the steps that have followed to broaden what you can do.
Yeah, I think the ebook made it free to produce. I think that's probably... It made it so much easier to put your book out, but it was the creation of the marketplace.
The idea behind the book is that I think half of it, as we say, is the kind of the rant about the publishing world at the moment, and against traditional publishers using vanity publishing imprints to get your money. But the other half is that very, very practical step-by-step guide of here are the buttons I need to press to turn my novel in its Microsoft Word format, if that's what you use, into an ebook, into a paperback edition. And it goes into cover design, it goes into...
You've got quite a lot of detail in there, haven't you, as well?
There is a lot.
Certainly, it wouldn't have occurred to me, that there was stuff in there that I needed to learn, but I have.
And you've written a book on indie publishing,
Yeah,
haven't you?
absolutely, yeah, too right. Much sketchier. I mean, it was much more of an outline, smaller book, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of as a practical how-to book. We're hoping it's going to be very useful to a lot of people.
What do you think? David, what do you think the biggest selling point of the book is? Before we get into some of the detail and take some more questions.
The rant, probably.
I enjoyed the
I think it's the
rant. I
opposite.
must admit, I enjoyed the rant.
It is a book of two halves. So yes, there is a lot of argument and reasoning as to why you should do it, and anecdotes about how things have changed and so forth.
Okay.
And then there's the practical, follow these steps, you will have an ebook.
Okay.
Follow these steps, there's your paperback.
All right.
There's another thing in there as well. You just reminded me. One of our other people who've read the book already and commented on it has said what she really, really likes about it is that there's a lot of our personal experience in there, and it was the kind of thing she thought would not sell the book to her at first, but actually the more it went on, the more she thought actually it's kind of very, very friendly and it's very practical.
It's got real advice for real situations in it, hasn't it? It's
Yeah.
the sort of thing you've actually had to deal with. It's not hypothetical in that, or theoretical in that sense.
Well, we've hit a number of snags in the process. We've written them down so other people won't make those mistakes. That's the aim.
And it's our experience of publishing 40 books between us. We counted them. There's about 40 titles between the two of us. Yeah.
That's been a busy few years. Can we talk about channels for publishing? Because again, the range of options seem to increase all the time. When we started with ebooks, we were saying the bulk of the market is Kindle, and the alternative for other platforms was Smashwords. And there are a few issues I gather with, well, I've experienced with trying to get books onto Smashwords, but there's a new player on the block, Draft2Digital.
Yeah.
Do you want to comment on them?
Yes, it's an interesting situation, and it changes almost on a monthly basis, going back and forth between what you should do. Amazon is the biggest player, absolutely, and everybody should have their book on Amazon. And that's a quote from Mark Coker, head of Smashwords,
Indeed. Yeah.
who has a lot of nasty things to say about Amazon as well, but he at least admits that.
He admits that sense, yeah.
Totally, yeah. Your choice then is how you then do what we call going wide and going beyond Amazon. Amazon's the biggest bookstore in the world, but there are many others as well, and Apple have moved into this market, Barnes & Noble, and lots of others. And how do you feed your books through to those? Now, there's two aggregators that will do this for you.
Just explain the word aggregators a minute for anybody who hasn't heard the term.
If you go to either Smashwords or Draft2Digital, you can just upload your single manuscript. It will convert it into an ebook edition, and then it will automatically send it out to Apple, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of others.
Torino, there's a whole raft of
It'll
them
even do
there.
it for Kindle as well for you. So it's a nice, convenient way of having put out your Amazon edition. You can then just deal with all the others in one
hit.
stroke. One hit.
Yeah.
You can do that. Now Amazon also have a kind of exclusivity deal as well, where they talk about you can sign up to their deal, and then
that's Kindle Select, isn't it? I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you have to take your books off all the others. Okay. And you can kind of weigh up the pros and cons of doing that. It means you're not wide. It means you're exclusive to Amazon. And I've gone back and forth with this because I think you sign up for 3 months with any one of your books to do this. There are advantages to it, and some people say go all in with Amazon, you'll just make more money and make a lot more coin on it. Others say no, what you're doing is kind of sacrificing a lot of future audience by going exclusively with Amazon.
And also some people object to it ethically. That
Yes.
There shouldn't be just one person selling books.
I don't object to it ethically.
What's your personal experience? It's a vested interest in one sense because I did hardly anything with Smashwords, and I found them so bloody difficult to upload my books to that when Draft2Digital arrived, I was not even sure I would use them, but I thought I'd try them. Discovered that, like Kindle, they were so easy to use, and I've only had my books on Draft2Digital for 3 months. December, I think I did the first uploads, and they're already a nice little stream. It's nothing like the volumes on Kindle, but it's coming in a way that it never did with Smashwords.
I'm going to have to try Draft2Digital myself.
They're good.
You to do it.
They're so easy to do.
It's
a few minutes to upload a book.
It's a very, very clean environment. The conversion process is absolutely beautiful. It's so simple. It just takes your Word document, you upload it, and then it just turns it into an ebook and turns all your chapter headings into an index, a searchable index, and it's fantastic.